Hello, and welcome to the Know It Some podcast. I'm your host, Steve Platt. Each week, we're going to bring you a different interview with somebody new from a different walk of life journey, experience, different perspectives. The idea is we learn something because, after all, while nobody likes to know it all, it's always good to know it some. And this week, we're going to know some about Justin Aguirre. See, Justin is a certified online trainer, okay? He's a nutritionist. He's a fitness guru. He's a podcast host. But more than anything, he's a motivator. He will motivate you more than anybody you've met. This guy runs a podcast every morning for 10 minutes, and it will jumpstart your day. But the important thing about Justin is that he works with people from all over the world to transform their lives and how they view nutrition and eating, how they view fitness, and how they view themselves. He'll bring the best out of you, and I'm telling you, I haven't seen that kind of motivation since I left Paris Island. Without further ado, please welcome my guest, Justin Aguirre. Hey, Justin.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, bro. How about you?
Oh, I'm hanging in here. It's dad life now, so just trying to balance work and the podcast and raising a little kid. So it's a fine balance, but I'm doing it.
Awesome,
How's everything
man.
going with you?
Dude, and first of all, man, I'm honored to be on your show, dude. And yeah, it's going well, bro. I just made a podcast right now. So just going from mine to yours and just honored, man.
You're warmed up. I'm coming in cold, so bear with me. But yeah, the whole idea of this podcast is just to try to get different perspectives from people, because your life journey is unique to you, right? And you have a lot to share with others, right? From your journey, from your perspective and experiences. And when I started this podcast, it was, experiences like yours that I wanted to bring to the forefront, right? And so I just thought it'd be a good idea to have you on. First, could you maybe give the listeners a little bit about your background in terms of, where you're from, kind of the sports that you played growing up, and your first introduction to fitness in general?
Totally, man. Totally. Yeah, I'd love to do that, bro. Bro, just super honored to be on your show, dude. And I've never been on a podcast, bro. I've put out 200 episodes, but I've never been on someone else's podcast
on the other side of the mic.
Hell yeah, dude. This is cool.
It's an honor to have you on here. And honestly, I think that when folks find you out on social media, at the end of this, I'm going to have you, drop your handles and stuff. And when they find your podcast, they're going to be better for it. Because I know that you've inspired me, and to my listeners, I'll tell you, Justin has inspired me greatly over the last year or so. But I've known him since I was roughly 12, maybe 11 or 12 years old. So a long time. But anyhow, give us a little bit about maybe where you grew up, and how you got into sports, athletics, fitness, that kind of thing. In beginning.
Totally, man. So yeah, dude, I'm Miami boy through and through, bro. I mean, 305 Dade County, just dude. I mean, grew up here, school all my life here. Freaking 12 years old, I met you, bro. I remember being a 7th grader, 8th grader, hanging out after school in the freaking Miami Springs, man. So just my Miami boy, man. And actually for college, I was a soccer player all my life. And so upon graduating from high school, got a scholarship to play in Tennessee, Division II school out there called Carson Newman. Okay. And played there for 2 years. Really enjoyed it. One of the best soccer programs for Division II men's soccer in NCAA at the time. And it was just a great experience, but came back just because, again, bro, just wanted to be back in Miami. Friends, relationships, family, just wanted to be here. So decided to play Division I soccer at FIU. Okay. But when I got here, I realized it's not that easy, even though I knew the coach and they wanted me and all that stuff, like just all these rules with Division 2 and Division 1 and changing divisions. So I had to actually sit out a year and go to Miami-Dade to get a AA. And that was able to help me transfer over. So yeah, just all these different rules and stuff. So I ended up going to Dade for a year and like didn't play, and then transferred to FIU and played.
That's rough though, taking a year off.
Yeah, dude, it kills your stride and stuff, but whatever, bro. It needed to be done. And I should have done the research beforehand, not just like on a whim, like going back to Miami, you know? So,
well, you know, I'll tell you, just in general, Division I sports, they've done a lot of reforming the transfer rules. I know that there's a transfer portal now that might not have existed back then. And hopefully they continue to reform it, because it's not fair to penalize kids. When you're 17, 18 and you're making your decision as to where to go to school, you know, that's a lot to put on a kid.
It is,
and
man.
sometimes you end up in an environment that's not right for you. Sometimes you need to move back closer to family. You know, there's a lot of different things, and I look at what the NCAA has done in terms of decision making on transfer decisions, and it's just there's no rhyme or reason to it sometimes.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm you know, glad that it worked out for you, but you know, taking that year off is rough, to ask, you know, an athlete to just sit for a year.
Yeah, dude, it was. And but you know, all things work, man. And you know, made some good relationships at Dade, was able to play with like a semi-pro team during that year, and just traveled and all that stuff. And so yeah, went to FIU and then played there I guess it was my third year in college sports. And then the fourth year, I didn't play, man. I just didn't have it anymore. That's when I kind of started noticing, like, I always wanted to be a pro, but then realizing, like, no, you know, I don't think I want to be a professional. I don't think I want this life. I don't think I want to. And that's when I got into coaching soccer. And so, yeah, that's when the whole coaching journey started. Didn't play my fourth year. And just started coaching, man. I just worked with different people, different like soccer leaders in Miami, and was under their wing and just learned from them. And then started just going to different clubs. And my dad has always been a coach, so that's been something. He coached me, and so coaching just kind of came.
He had the unfortunate experience of having to coach me for a brief time. You know,
yeah, those you don't know, man, Steve was a soccer player back in the day, bro. Dude, I remember when he first kicked his first ball, man, you know, and then got on the team and freaking stuck with it. And
I was told, you know, you stand here, and if the ball comes anywhere near you, you punt it to the other side of the field. That was the extent of my skill set. That was the only thing I could do well. And I did it.
You did it, bro.
But yeah, so let me ask you, so him being a coach, and he played, right, when he was younger, was that a big impact on you? You know, what was the impact that got you into soccer? Was it watching your dad while you were growing up?
Yeah. I mean, I think he was always into like sports and stuff, and he never played like college ball like me, and like he never had that, I don't think, the desire to be a professional. He was more of a musician, actually. But upon me being born and getting into, you know, sports and just Miami, and like, what's my kid gonna play? You know, we started with baseball, actually, and I was just like, okay, this isn't for me. And then saw some kids playing soccer, and then just my dad wanted to be involved in my life, and so he just naturally took on the role of coaching, and then we started a team, and then it just kind of became a passion. I mean, we're Peruvian, so soccer's in our blood,
right?
And so we just always, you know, culturally liked it. But then it became like, oh, like, let's do this. And then now, well, my kid's pretty good. Like, let's see if we could do something with this. And then, just my sister started playing, and then we started becoming known as soccer people. And then you just keep it, man. You just keep it. And so, like having a dad as your coach is interesting, though. It's totally different. And so that was like my story for all
it's
of
totally
my
easy,
youth.
right? I mean, they just go really easy on you if you're their kid. That's what I know. It's
exactly, dude. Exactly.
So what do you think about David Beckham bringing soccer back to Miami?
Oh shoot, bro. I mean, I'm excited, dude. It's, it's unfortunate that like as soon as the season's about to start, and like everyone's got their tickets. And it couldn't have even been more perfect timing that like
Yeah.
everything was ready to go. And then it's like, oh, coronavirus. Like, sorry, we're canceling the whole season. Like, never was able to get a first game like full house packed, and like did so much work to make it happen. But other than that, I mean, it just kind of just put a damper on the whole coming out of the team. But I
Hmm.
think that the fact that it actually has happened and that it's been a success in terms of like, we have a team, we have a stadium, we are
Right.
doing this, you know, even though it wasn't like the Majestic Stadium out here on the waterfront in Miami Beach or whatever, like we did it, and it's here and it's official, and we're an MLS franchise. Like, it's real. Like, I think it's massive for Miami, and it needed to happen. And it really, I mean, I'm a part of the youth soccer here, so it really
Hmm.
helps youth soccer a lot. There's a lot of kids, man, in Miami that never get noticed, bro. Never
Yeah.
get noticed. And we got one of the best soccer cities in the world, but yeah, you get people like in LA, New York, Texas, like they get on the national team, like they get exposure, but the Miami kid, like, not really, man. But now, because of the MLS and all this happening here, like a lot of
Hmm.
these kids are going to start getting noticed, and there's going to be a lot more of a buzz for Miami athletes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. One of my buddies, Mike Marinelli, he's the official voice for the team.
No way.
Yeah,
What does that
and
mean? The
so
official voice?
he's been doing announcing and commentating, like providing color commentary or play by play for years. I mean,
Cool.
since he was a kid. And I remember, like, while he was still in high school, he would do like play by play and color commentary for like high school sports. So, like, for his peers, despite the
Nice.
fact that he was broadcasting alongside journalists that have been doing it for like 30 years. And he's just got a voice for radio. I have a face for radio, right? But he's got the voice for it, and so he just has always kind of been in that world, and he got the opportunity. Shortly before the season started, they signed him, and I was super excited for him. But he's been broadcasting to an empty stadium. You can catch him. I would believe, on the broadcast of the games, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it is what it is. With the pandemic, no one could have foreseen it.
Yeah.
Up in my area, a lot of Tampa Bay Bucks fans were pretty upset they weren't able to really watch the games in person due to capacity limits.
Mm, yeah.
But first team in I don't know how many years to sign the entire roster back,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
like all 22 players. So it should be fun to see what Tom Brady and the Bucks can do this next year. I'll try to catch a few games.
Yeah,
Um,
bro.
so all right, so that's your journey with soccer to an extent, right? But it seems as though there was like a period where sports and athleticism fell off for you,
Mhm.
not long ago, right? Like, was there some sort of like a low point that you hit
Yeah.
in terms of fitness at some point?
Yeah, it's weird, bro. Like, and here's where it's like kind of like it takes a turn in my journey. It's like always into soccer, always into, I mean, quote unquote, athleticism and fitness is a part of that journey, you know? But I think I've
Right.
always like on the low, always like wanted to look better.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so much of that you can say it's like, oh, it's your image, but it's like it ties into what you eat. And then what you eat ties into like your emotions and the way you think and the way you feel. And so this whole thing is all connected. And it's a part of everybody's, I think, everyday life. Like nobody wakes up and they're like, I want to look worse today. Like everyone is
Yeah.
like
Right.
striving or
Yeah.
trying something. So for me, like with soccer, I was always like, oh, I love playing and I love looking good. I love feeling good. But I don't know. I just, after you stop playing and then you start coaching and then life starts to hit you in different ways and you're like, oh, I got to make a living. I got to make money, like bills. Like you just like fitness or like looking a certain way just kind of slowly etches away at you and you don't even notice it. And so I got to a
Right.
low point. Um, and I'm like kind of closet about it. Like you would never meet me in the street and be like, oh, that guy's struggling. But I was,
Right.
bro. Like I was struggling a lot with like my image, feeling fat, feeling low energy, like dealing with vices, like stuff like drinking too
Yeah.
much or like lust or like just freaking like a deep inner sadness, or just so emotional about things, and anxiety,
Yeah.
like, all these things. And so I just got,
And it's easy to happen.
yeah,
You know what I
bro.
mean? It's easy to fall into that.
Yeah, man. It really is. And like, when the pandemic hit, actually, it was like everything's closing down. Like, uh, just like with my girl, like just feeling disconnected with myself. Like, I don't know, man. And so I had to go inward.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started watching like videos to motivate me online. Like, I would literally type in like
Right.
motivation, like, and he just listen to
There you
something,
go.
bro, to try to pick.
Get the motivation posters on the
Yeah,
wall,
yeah, dude, like just
little
something.
quotes.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And so just found this guy, actually. His name is Wes Watson, and he was fresh
Right.
out of prison, bro, which is crazy. He had come out a year ago, but he had just undergone a transformation, and the way he spoke just really like compelled me. And so then he happened to be an online trainer, so he just gave me like some macronutrients, which I knew about,
Mm-hmm.
and like had me eating a certain way, meaning like limiting my fat intake, a certain amount of carbs, certain amount of protein, a certain amount of
Mm-hmm.
calories per day, stuff that you think is like, oh, I would never do that, so much work, but actually doing that, what we ingest really affects our mind. And that gets back to like my whole dilemma with emotions and things like that, and
Yep.
feeling a certain way. The
Yeah.
food, man, just changed me. And then these fitness workouts that I would do, all body weight, because the gyms were
Right.
closed. So from
Yep.
March of 2020 to like my birthday, when I turned 33, it was a period of 100 days. And I just said, this is going to be Justin's 100-day challenge. Like, I'm not going to
There you go.
drink, not going to smoke my cigars, not going to eat fast food, not going to even eat out once. I'm going to cook every single
Mm-hmm.
meal. I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to take cold showers. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to just challenge myself. Even though I feel like I'm like so sad and beat up and tired, I'm just going to challenge myself as best I can for these 100 days. And I just did it, bro, like to a T, dude, and just lost like 40 pounds, like changed everything, and
Yep. To the listeners, you gotta go. Find Justin on Instagram. He's gonna drop his handle at the end of the episode and watch the transformation. He's got a lot of it posted, and you can. I mean, it's mind boggling. It's not magic.
no,
It's hard
yeah,
work,
dude, yeah,
and Justin, that guy that inspired you to start
hmm
this, right? That spark. Everybody kind of needs that
yeah,
spark. Some people can find it from within with no outside influence, but most people need some sort of a spark if they're in a rut. A helping hand out of that rut, right? And that's kind of why I wanted you on. I know that the pandemic kind of had a lot of people doing things at home, but I mean Herschel Walker, one of the great football players of our
hmm
time, all calisthenics essentially.
yeah,
And so it can definitely be done that way. But you brought up macronutrients, right?
yeah,
And it's kind of funny because everybody wants to take like a magic diet pill, right? They when you lose weight, they're like, what's your secret?
yeah,
And I think now there's a lot to it, right? It's complex to an
hmm
extent, but at the base of it, right, losing weight comes down to calorie deficit,
yeah,
right? And there's no real way around that. People try to get around that one way or the other, but you either gotta decrease the amount of calories you're taking in, or increase your output, your caloric
yep,
output, or a combination of the two, and ideally a combination
yeah,
of the two,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
mhm.
So what have you done to track your calories, and not just your calories, but your, like you said, your macronutrients, right? Your protein, carbs, fat. Like, how have you
Yeah,
done
I
that?
mean, and here it is, like, this is a technical thing, right? Because most people don't want to get,
Mm-hmm.
and when I say technical, it means we have to go into numbers to talk about things. And most
Yep.
people, when they think about dieting, like, they don't go to numbers, right? Because the numbers are intimidating. Like, they go to like, just tell me what to eat, right? And tell me
Right.
what's
Yeah.
bad and tell me what's good. So then you end up having like a turkey wrap with bacon and honey mustard. Like, okay, like, yeah, I guess that's better than a Big Mac, but like, come on, like, if you if you really want to take the
uh,
guesswork out of it, like, you got to
mm-hmm.
get practical with the numbers if you want to get serious. Like, I mean, anybody could lose weight, like, just like, you just
Right.
eat kind of healthy and you'll see the scale go down. But like, if you want a transformation, we got to talk
Mm-hmm.
numbers, like that's what you're
Yeah.
saying, calories in, calories out. So yeah, every gram of protein has 4 calories. Every carbohydrate has 4 calories, and every gram of fat has 9 calories. And everything that's possible to eat in our whole world is going to be made up of proteins, fats, carbs, and it's going to have calories. And if you can
Right.
find,
And you
and
need
you
all
need all
three.
3, yeah. And if you can find a
Yeah.
way to like go at calories in versus calories out and put yourself in a deficit and have a certain amount of macronutrients for your specific body type to put you in that
Right.
deficit, you can lose weight and recomp your whole body. You either can build a muscle, you can lose fat, and it's a science and it's an art, and it's honestly it's mathematics, really.
Yeah.
um
Yeah. At first folks can see the scale not really
mhm.
moving, or it'll fluctuate, they get frustrated. But like you said, it's body recomposition to a degree. So yeah, you might need to lose weight, but remember that you're replacing some of that weight that you're losing with
Mhm.
muscle if you're doing
Mhm.
it right, right? And that's going to have some weight to it too.
Yep.
So the scale is just one of the many metrics to look at when you're talking about how, your
Yeah.
energy, right? How your clothes fit, your mood.
Yeah, dude.
Um, I mean, there's so much more to it than just the needle on the
Yeah,
scale.
bro.
Um, and so tell me, I know you've helped a lot of
Mhm.
people through social media. I've seen some of the people
Mhm.
that you've helped. Tell the listeners a little bit about what can they can expect if they reach out to you for help if they want to transform.
Yeah, I mean, first off, it's like it's being real serious with it. I really think, and I don't mean that like, oh, like you gotta be like, me or something like that. But you just generally be like,
Right.
90 days, I'm gonna do this, and I'm not gonna quit. Because,
Mhm.
and I say that because there are people that I've worked with that they just don't follow through, man. What gets
Yeah.
them is like, you mean I gotta track all these foods? And there's an app that does it for you. You just have to enter it, and it's called My Fitness
Mhm.
Pal. But people get so caught up in their hunger, dude. And they're like, I can't do it.
Mhm.
I'm hungry. And it's like, that's what stopped you? Your hunger pain? So that's what I was saying is like
Right.
you gotta really like want it. Like it's not just like, let me
Yeah.
try this. Like, no, you're gonna transform
Well,
and just tell me that you're gonna do it for 90 days and you won't quit and let's do this?
yeah, and keep in mind there are a lot of foods out there that have what they call low caloric
Mhm.
density, right? Meaning they're not super calorie dense. Things like grapes, for
Yeah.
instance, right? And it's usually fruits and vegetables, but these things can help you feel full while not being a calorie
Yeah.
bomb, right? And on the contrary, there are some things that are relatively healthy, things like nuts, right? Healthy fat, but they're super
Yeah.
calorie dense, so you can only have so much of it in your calorie
Yeah.
budget, right? So a lot of it is what you eat, and you can try to go it alone and say, well, this is healthy, this is not healthy. But I mean, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. You can eat a bunch of really healthy food and just, I mean, completely sidetrack your journey because you're taking in
Yeah,
so many
dude. Like people
calories,
don't
right?
people think like avocado is a great like fat like superfood. But
I
it's
love it.
it's packed with fat, dude. It's essentially a fat. It's and
It is.
like I said, there's more calories in a gram of fat than there is carbs or protein. So
Right.
you can have like an avocado, and that would be
Yeah.
so much more like heavier for you than 2 slices of bread.
Mhm.
And people think bread's bad.
Right.
So it's like it's knowing,
Yeah.
and then you have olive oil.
And it's not that you can never have an avocado. It's just you got to understand when you do it, you got to count those calories. You have to take
Correct.
it into account. You have to, have the right
Correct.
portion of it.
Most people are
You know.
consuming that come to me that we work together. They're consuming too much fat because the current
Oh
cultural trend is like lower your carbs, have like high protein,
yeah.
and like fat's kind of gray. It's like I don't know, like avocados good.
Right. The paleo keto
Yeah. Yeah,
fads,
and then
right?
you have like the keto junkies that are like, bro, like all the fat you can, just no carbs, and it's like you have all,
Just
yeah,
butter.
dude, you just have like all these different like streams of thought in our culture, And so most people that come to me are
Mm-hmm.
having like a really high fat diet, low carb, and like moderate protein. And we have to reverse that. And I go low fat. I have them
Yeah.
training hard. So we go a little higher on the carbs and their protein according to their lean body mass. And we just run it like
Right.
that. And that gets the best results for men and women. Women need a little bit more fat, but what you're gonna expect if you
Yeah.
work with me is like gotta see pictures of you. If you're in Miami, we'll meet up in person. But if not, we gotta see pictures of you, gotta know what you're at, and then I can see like, all right, these are the macros that you're gonna need. And so we'll put you on a 90-day plan and you're going to track those macros. I'm going to help you find foods according to those macros. Some people don't know. Some people are like, I got this, I'll handle it on my own. Some people need a meal plan. I can provide that as well based on those macros, general guidelines. But the idea is that you don't just work with me and then you need to rely on me forever. Like I want to be able to have 90-day transformations, and the knowledge that you got there you keep for life. You'll
Mm-hmm.
never look at food the same.
Right.
You'll be able to look at a plate of food and be like, okay, that chicken's 4 ounces, that's 30 grams. That rice right there, that's 42. Like you just know. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you can go to a
Right.
restaurant and know what you need to eat so you can stay lean, you know?
You're building habits, but you're also
Mindset,
transforming
dude.
mindset,
Yeah.
right? And that's a huge thing. Now, it's not just counting calories and macros and everything, right? It's not just the diet, but you're also helping on the
Yeah.
exercise front as
Yeah,
well,
we do.
right?
We do fitness. Like there's some people like my mom, for example. I've got to train mom, bro, you know? She's had 2 knee replacements, bro. Like her hips, like she just can't work out. And on top of that, she just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really enjoy it. So she's strict macros, right? But then a lot of people, especially the guys, like they love the training, you know? They like the training more than the kitchen, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, let me just work out
Right.
hard and then eat whatever, you know? That's like kind of the mentality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah. Then I
yeah,
can have
dude, I
that
earned
donut.
that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Not. Yeah. I've never understood that. But
Yeah,
to each
dude. So
their own, right?
yeah, I'm
But
big on the
yeah.
training. So I work on a private app. I have like yeah, based on your goals. Sometimes it's homebody. People don't want to go to the gym, especially now. Some people have access to a gym. Whatever it is, we're gonna create
Mm-hmm.
workouts for you. I go 6 days a week, but if you can only go 4, that's fine. Definitely, you need to be training 4 times a week at minimum. But I
Right.
mean, these are quick
Mm-hmm.
quick sessions, man. Like 40 minutes, you're out. Just I like it in the morning. I promote it in the morning. Get up early, go into your workout, get it done. But yeah, definitely
Right.
training. Mhm.
And like you said, right? You're gonna customize and tailor this to whoever's
Correct.
reaching out to you, because whether they can afford the time to give you 6 days or 4 days working out, that's going to make a
Mhm.
difference, right? And also, the speed that they're looking to lose weight, or how much they're looking to lose weight, might vary as well, because I noticed you didn't really cheat or give yourself treat meals as much as most people do in a
Yeah.
body transformation, right? You allowed yourself like some carrot
Yeah,
cake on your birthday
dude.
and stuff like that, but that was about it, right? But some people need more than that, or they feel they need more than that, and I understand that it might not be the right mindset, right? But a transformation doesn't happen overnight, and so
Mhm.
for some folks, all right, they're not gonna transform
Mhm.
as quickly as you did, if they allow themselves, let's say, a treat meal a week or two
Yeah.
treat meals a week or whatever. But they'll still transform as long as they're doing all the things that you're asking them to do in terms of counting
Mhm.
calories and exercising and so on and so forth. It's just, that is going to set them back
Yep.
a little bit, right? But in the grand scheme of the week, it's a net positive, right? They've changed
Yep.
themselves for the better. So if you're listening to this and you're going, look, I can't go to the extreme because that's not sustainable
Mhm.
for me long term.
Yeah.
Know that you don't have to. I have lost
Wow,
already
bro.
over 30
Congrats,
pounds,
dude.
and thank you, sir. And I've changed my mindset, but also created incredible habits and surrounding my diet and surrounding working out. But I still allow myself. I don't even call it a cheat meal,
Yep.
a treat meal. Okay,
Yep.
once a week, and what it does is it keeps me honest the rest of the week, because I know, okay, I have to be good now because I'm doing that treat meal, and I can't afford to make it a treat day or a
Correct.
treat week, right? And and it keeps me real good and honest the rest of the days. And to be honest, the treat meal doesn't set me back as much as you would think, because it helps with things like
Mhm.
ghrelin, and keeping that under control, and then also a lot of what I noticed on the scale the next day is a result of like the
Yeah.
sodium that's in
Yeah.
that kind of a meal. It's like water weight, and I lose it really quickly when I go back
Yep.
to my routine. So, just know, guys, he'll
Mm-hmm.
tailor it to you. If you tell him, hey, look, I have time for 6 days a week, like bring it. Or you tell him, hey, look, with work and family and everything, I can only do 4. He'll tailor it. Same thing with
Yep.
the diet. He's willing to work with somebody who wants to be as
Yep.
extreme as possible on transforming, or somebody that needs to ease into it a little. But it's a
Mm-hmm.
90-day program, and he'll set you up so that you won't be reliant on that for life. You'll already yourself have the tools and the capability
Yeah, man,
to
that's a
maintain
great
it.
point, man. And like, I'm glad it's that way. Like, I want to be the one that's more intense than all my clients. I wouldn't want someone to come in and be like, like way more intense and like, like I'm glad it's that way. But I
Right.
just know like it's someone that's like me that wants to go all out, but it's also like someone that's just like, hey, I generally want to just be more healthy and understand food in a new way and train 3 times a week. Like we can work
That's
together. Like
awesome.
this isn't for a specific person. All I said like at the beginning is just I just want someone that's like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm not gonna
Dedicated for sure.
quit.
And
You
you
do,
have to
man. It's
dedicate.
the most
And
frustrating thing for any coach in
and
any industry. It's like people that don't want to really do it or
right.
half-hearted.
Well, like you said, like some people have injuries,
Yeah.
like your mom's a great example, right? Yeah, the important thing I think is, when you commit to something at the beginning, sticking to
Mm,
that commitment, right? Like
yeah.
it's okay if your program looks different than Justin's or mine. If you're working out a different amount of days a week, or your diet's a little different, that's fine. But you got to stick to what you commit to. If you say I'm going to weigh myself every day, or I'm going to weigh myself every week, or whatever you work out with your fitness coach, like you got to stick to
Hmm.
whatever that is, right? Same thing with the macros. I'm going to log every meal. That means
Hmm.
logging every meal, not saying I don't feel so good about logging this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna be tough. I'm gonna be hard on you because that's just the way I learned. So I'm gonna give you the way I learned. But I always, man, I come in love, I come in peace, and I really just want the best for people. And I believe that everyone can be pushed a little bit harder, and that
yeah.
they're a lot stronger than they think.
Yeah,
Really.
it's so true. And a big part of being able to do that comes from having the right mindset, right? So
Yeah.
you have a podcast,
Hmm.
you take care of the mindset portion too. So you got the diet, you got the exercise, but you help kind of strengthen the mind
Yeah.
through your podcast. So tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, man. So I started a podcast maybe 2 years ago because I just always naturally liked speaking and communicating. And I think audio is a big way forward, especially with tech now. And so I was like, man, let's just start a podcast. Like this is cool. It's trendy. But I never posted, man. I never posted when I started.
Yeah.
And this is when the whole like fitness journey and transformation of what I eat and how that affected my mindset and all
Mm-hmm.
that. It's like I work out every day, track my macros every day. I
Yeah.
show up every day. Whatever I do, I'm gonna be consistent.
Yeah.
So then that whole like thing about like posting when I feel like it, or like I'm gonna post on a podcast every day. I'm gonna show up every day,
That's
even when I
awesome.
don't know what to say. I'm gonna show up every day,
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started doing that, man. And for me, yeah, the podcast lines up with the program. I hope that my trainees listen as well. They're not
Yeah.
like required to or anything like that, but I
No, but I
think
think it helps.
yeah, it's just like kind of like the journey, man. The journey and the motivation.
Yeah.
It's a big part of it. The whole thing that I learned was it through the fitness and the transformation of my body was the mindset
Mm-hmm.
transformation. That's what I'm the most proud of.
Yeah.
Like make me fat again. Like I don't care. Like give me the 45 pounds back and I will find a way. Like
Right.
it's
Yeah.
the mindset that's irreplaceable. It's the mindset that where the real transformation comes that
Well,
enables me
inner
to
peace.
speak. Yeah, it's inner peace, it's love for others, it's
Mm-hmm.
sharing it and like helping others transform. Like that's where it's at. The
Absolutely.
abs, dude, is what I started out. Like we start out with that physical,
Yeah.
that primal desire, that selfish desire. I want my abs, like,
Yeah.
and then you get them, and you're like, it's not about that,
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
not. You're missing the point.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's
about.
100%
Mhm.
why I don't have abs is, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, uh, what's the name of the podcast?
Yeah, so it's just my name. It's the Justin Aguirre podcast.
The
It's on
Justin Aguirre. I love the
iTunes.
name.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? It's just gonna be me, dude. I don't know. I could call it the motivational, but I'm like, let me just put a picture of me on there and name it myself.
Well, that's the way to do it. So, big time podcaster. I won't throw his name out right here because I'm not here to name drop. But big time podcaster gave me advice. And basically said, name it after yourself. If you're gonna do a podcast, name it after yourself.
Oh, really? Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
He said that's the way to go. And a lot of the greats, that's what they do, right?
Mm.
But I there were two reasons why I didn't do it, and I applaud you for doing it. But mine's an interview podcast, right? So
Yeah, that's
I
true.
want the focus not to be on me, but on the guest. And then the
Correct.
second thing is nobody knows who I am. I'm like a poor man's Rogan, right? I'm a bald white guy that interviews people, but instead of Elon Musk, it's everybody, right?
Yeah.
Anybody can come on here, and that's kind of the cool thing is I think I'm gonna have a very diverse set of conversations that I'm excited about because I like learning from others. But I think my listeners will really benefit from hearing from like just such a crazy broad spectrum of people
Yeah.
who have gone
Yeah.
through completely different journeys. So I'm really excited about this podcast. I'm
Yeah,
just
dude.
trying
I
to
want
grow
to
it.
say to your listeners, I mean, you're a great interviewer. There's an
Thanks.
art to hosting and to interviewing. There really is. If you
Mhm.
feel like if you're listening right now and you're like, wow, this is a great show, I'm really benefiting. Like, know that it's the host and the one that's moderating it that's the reason why. That's the engine of the car. It has nothing to do with the person in the seat. It has everything to do with the person on the other side of the desk. You know?
Thanks, man. I
Yeah,
greatly
bro.
appreciate that. I'm working on it.
True. Yeah.
I think my first couple episodes were very rusty, and my guests were amazing, and I owe them greatly for carrying those. But I'm starting to come into my own. I've recorded a bunch of episodes this week, and I'm gonna be releasing a new episode every Tuesday
Good.
morning, going forward. So I can't do every day like you do. I don't know how you do it. About how long are your episodes?
Dude, I'm a 10-minute guy, bro.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's much better.
Yeah. I couldn't even like half an hour every day. Like,
Yeah.
no. It's but the deeper message, like I said, it's just showing up, man. And like even you committing to every Tuesday, like that's
Yeah.
huge. And it's the same thing with nutrition, dude. It's like showing up every day. Like I'm gonna eat these foods, I'm gonna hit these macros, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna do that set, like consistency. And like you said, like I'm showing up and I'm getting better. Like, of course,
Yeah.
I'm eating these foods. I'm looking leaner. I'm getting stronger. I'm working, It's like
That's the way to
showing
do
up,
it.
not tapping. Yeah, man.
It's crazy inspirational. I love what you're doing. I know you're probably sharing a lot of that with the girls that you're coaching and everything. So where can people find you on social media?
Bro, again, I don't want to be too narcissistic, but my name, Justin Aguirre 7, is my Instagram handle.
I love it.
Come get me there. Come hear me on the podcast, Justin Aguirre Podcast. My website is thejustinaguirre.com. I don't utilize that as much. It's just where people can book a call with me.
Okay.
But I mean, shoot, we'll put my phone number in the show notes here, whatever we need to do. But yeah, Instagram is the best way. I'm on there the most. Also have a Facebook, my name too. But yeah, just if you want to connect, just reach out. Like, honestly, no matter where you're at in the journey, like I said, nobody wakes up and they're like, I want to look worse. I want to eat like shit. Like everyone is like, I want to be better. I want to improve. Of course you do, So wherever you're at, like, let's improve, let's grow, let's build you into the best version of what you can be. That's what I really want to do with people.
Absolutely. I mean, so I'll leave you with this, right? During the pandemic, there was a huge spike in sales for Lowe's and Home Depot. Massive spike, right? Everybody said, now's the time to work on my house. Now's the time to finally get around to these projects that I have, like these things that I've been wanting to do, been needing to do, been meaning to do, but I've always said, I'll get to that eventually, right? And they transformed their house. They tiled a room that was carpeted. They painted. They, you know what I mean? Like they did all these great, right? And they improved their home tremendously, and the numbers show it, right? The sales show it. I'm a finance guy. That's my world. And so I see that, right? But then I'm going, have you worked on you, right? Like you worked on the house. That's great. have you improved you had this time. Now I saw you do it, right? And I went the opposite way. Like I told you, I got up to like 240 pounds, and I was like, enough's enough. Like, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people fell into the same trap I did. You know, they're at home, they're snacking, they're ordering in takeout, they're, you know, whatever, right? Yep. And like, now's the time. Like, there's no time like the present. If you are not at your best, and everybody knows what their best can be, you know, if you're not there and you want to be, like, do something. And you know, I'm lucky to know a number of personal fitness coaches and folks that do this kind of stuff. Justin's one of the best, and I strongly suggest you give it a shot. Right? I don't really see the downside. Like, what's the worst that could happen? Give it the best. Transform yourself into the best you that you can be, and give this podcast a listen. The Justin Aguirre podcast.
Dude, thank you so much, Steve. It's been an honor being on your show, dude. You're the freaking man. Like I said, if you're a listener to this podcast, keep it going. Keep listening, man. And give me a copy of this, and I'll put it on my show, and then I'll intro you and have people redirect so they can hear your podcast.
For sure. Thanks so much for coming on, Justin. I hope you have a wonderful day, man. But keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring folks. And, you know, I think just like that guy reached you, I think you're going to reach, you know, a number of people, man.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
All right, my brother. Care. We'll talk soon, dude. Let's do it again.
All right.
See you, brother. Bye.
And that'll do it for another episode of the Know It Some podcast. My thanks to Justin for his time. Honestly, what a motivating interview. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey with us. I think a lot of people are going to get so much out of following you, both by subscribing to your podcast and following you on Instagram. You really are transforming lives, brother, and I appreciate everything that you do. Folks, check him out, Justin Aguirre 7 on Instagram, the Justin Aguirre podcast. Thanks to everybody who's left a ranking or a review on iTunes. Those are golden. They are helping me so much in bringing quality guests to you. We've recorded a number of episodes for the next few weeks, and we have so many guests who are waiting to get on this podcast, and that's due to you and your rankings and reviews, the sharing that you've done on social media. Everything that you've done to help this podcast is going to just bring you better content going forward. I appreciate it, and if you haven't done so already, please take 5 minutes or less, really, and go on iTunes, write a quick review, leave a 5-star ranking if you feel, share this with a friend, and great things ahead for us, I think, on the Know It Some podcast. Until next week, I'm Steve Platt. I'm your host. Take care.